Let's talk about how some of the world's most massive, complex organizations, we're talking federal agencies, giant financial firms, actually manage to move forward without getting completely stuck. You see, they have a secret weapon, a specialized discipline called enterprise architecture. And today, we're going to look at it through the lens of a firm that lives and breathes this stuff, ArcMetis.
So, it all starts with this question. If you're a leader at a huge, heavily regulated institution, this is your reality. You're staring down a dozen competing priorities. You've got a mountain of technical debt. So how in the world do you map a clear path forward without just grinding to a halt?
You see, for these leaders, the situation isn't just complex, it's a totally different beast. We can call it the leader's impossible tangle, and it's a place where all the traditional strategic playbooks just, well, they fall apart. They get lost in the weeds.
And what exactly is this tangle made of? Well, picture this. You've got mission-critical technology that absolutely cannot fail, but it's layered on top of decades of creaky old legacy systems. All of this is wrapped in constantly shifting government regulations, and it's fragmented across different departments that don't talk to each other. It's not just complicated, it is a structural nightmare.
So to navigate a mess like that, you need a very specialized approach, and that discipline is called enterprise architecture, or EA for short. At its core, it's about creating a master blueprint for the entire organization, making sure that your strategy, your operations, and all your technology are actually moving in the same direction on purpose.
Okay, so how do you actually apply this? Well, ArcMetis has a philosophy that completely flips the conventional model for strategy on its head. See, instead of starting with some high-level strategy and then, hoping the technology can keep up, they start somewhere else entirely.
And here is the difference in a nutshell. The traditional way, you define a big strategy in the boardroom, you try to bolt on some technology to make it happen, and then you just cross your fingers and hope it works. The ArcMetis way flips that script. It starts by defining the architecture, the real, grounded blueprint of how your organization actually works. Only then can a realistic strategy flow from that design, which allows you to execute with total clarity.
This is probably the simplest and most powerful way to think about it. I mean, you would never, ever build a skyscraper without a detailed architectural blueprint, right? So why would you try to transform a multi-billion-dollar organization without one? It's about applying that exact same design discipline to the entire enterprise.
But here's the thing. Even if you have the right approach, there is a huge, huge risk that almost always gets overlooked in these massive projects. It's a hidden danger that can completely derail the entire effort before it even really gets going.
And this hidden danger, it's like a silent killer, lurking in the background of most transformations. It quietly operates behind the scenes, influencing decisions that can cost millions, and it's called implementation bias.
So, what is it exactly? Well, it's the risk that comes up when the same firm that's advising you on your technology also has a very profitable partnership with a software vendor. So you have to ask yourself, can you really trust their advice is objective? This bias means you might get sold a solution that's fantastic for their bottom line, but an absolute disaster for your mission.
And this is exactly why the idea of an independent blueprint becomes so critical. The solution to all that complexity and bias isn't some shiny new piece of software, it's clarity and integrity in the design process itself.
Think of it this way. The vendor-aligned consultant is kind of like a general contractor who gets a secret kickback for using certain building materials. Their advice is compromised. The independent architect, on the other hand, sells only one thing: objective judgment. Their only incentive is to serve the client's mission. They draw the blueprint. They don't sell you the bricks.
So how do they get to that objective blueprint? Well, it starts with two steps that, believe it or not, are often skipped. First is current state clarity. That means mapping out the messy reality of how things actually work today and putting a real dollar amount on your technical debt. It's only after you've done that that you can move to future state definition, designing a coherent, actionable vision for where you need to go. And the roadmap, that just builds the bridge from today to tomorrow.
This whole process is driven by a few core principles. Clarity before complexity means you don't rush to a solution, you bring structure to the chaos first. Secure by design means you bake in security and privacy right from day one, which is totally non-negotiable in these fields. And founder engagements is just a way of ensuring that on these incredibly high-stakes projects, clients get the seasoned, senior experts, not a junior team that's learning on the job.
And why is this level of discipline so important? Well, because this is the kind of money that can just vanish when a major project goes wrong because of a flawed architecture. Think about an upfront assessment like this as an insurance policy against that kind of catastrophic failure. It completely de-risks the entire investment.
So, as we start to bring this all together, the real key takeaway here is about what truly drives success. It's a fundamental shift in perspective, one that focuses on the blueprint rather than just the tech.
So often, leaders get bombarded by vendors trying to sell them a silver bullet, the latest AI tool, the newest cloud platform. But the ultimate success of a massive transformation, it really doesn't come from buying the newest, fanciest piece of tech.
No. Instead, success comes from this: achieving architectural alignment. It's about making sure your business strategy, your data, your security, and your execution are all built on a single, coherent, unified foundation. Because without that alignment, even the best technology in the world will fail.
And that really brings us to the central lesson of this whole explainer. It's not the text that drives outcomes. It's the architecture. A clear, independent, and well-designed architecture is the single greatest predictor of success for any major transformation, period.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you're making your biggest, most strategic bets, are those decisions grounded in a clear, independent blueprint that's designed purely for your mission? Or are they maybe being subtly shaped by a vendor's sales pitch? The answer to that question makes all the difference.